Okay, well, I guess we can begin. Shall we begin? You're here, I'm here. Everyone got a beer?
Is everybody in? No.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Drinks with Jay. Aww.
Just get a bottle in case they don't have enough glasses. Okay. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to Frightmare in the Falls and Beers with Jason. Let's have a toast.
All right.
So, in about 20 minutes' time, we will have photographs taken, and those photographs will be posted on the website by Monday morning. You can download them. There's a. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know we could throw things at them.
Oh, yes. That's part of the deal.
Here comes my bottle.
One lucky person in the audience
Does that
gets
mean
to
you're only
be
drinking
punched
one?
in the face.
I volunteer
Oh, you
Look
guys
at
are
that.
weird.
He's got my beanie, man.
He does.
I don't even have one of those anymore.
Very
I don't
cool.
even own anymore.
Thumbs up, people.
Bottoms up. So let's get started. I think to start, I should talk about the origin of this here panel. Basically, Rue Morgue Magazine took a Gallup poll. I'm Andrea Subissati, by the way. I'm executive editor of Rue Morgue Magazine, co-presenter of Frightmare in the Falls. Thank you. Thank you. Basically, we asked our readers who they would most like to have beers with, and Jason Voorhees was the resounding champion.
Yes.
So I put it
Let's
to
all
you
drink
guys.
some more beer. You're
why do you
not
guys-
drinking enough.
Oh my. Wow, that's aggressive. Why do you think that is, guys? What is it about Jason that makes you just want to
Halfway done.
crack a brew? Can we get another beer
Because
for Ari?
unlike that pedophile Freddie, Jason was always good to kids, was always good to animals, and just killed all the motherfuckers that deserved it. So,
No. And you know, contrary to popular belief, Jason isn't against people partying and having sex. He's against people partying and having sex on his lawn. So imagine you come home and someone's doing it on your lawn. Case closed. Let's drink more.
now here's another game we're gonna play.
Oh.
Oh no, that's yours. Who finished their beer so far? Okay,
I'm halfway.
good.
Okay.
Nice.
I thought we were in Canada.
Nice. So go get yourself another one and get one for Kane because he's out and Ari's catching up and I've got some catching up to do. But in the meantime, let's chat some more. I want to hear a bit more, and I know you've been asked this a million times about your history with the role. I want to hear about how each of you, you were offered a bus ticket and maybe 40 cents to play Jason Voorhees, which then became a career-defining moment in horror genre
Well, I
history.
did actually travel in a bus and probably got paid the equivalent of 40 cents. But Kane's
Yeah, but wait a minute.
initiation and induction was John Beekler. It was a different thing.
Yes, but I'm interested.
in fairness.
I know I've heard how they decided on you, but was it Savini? Savini?
No. Actually, ultimately, it was Steve Miner that kind of suggested I play Jason.
Well, I mean, why were you even around?
I know. Why was I around?
No, I
Because
mean
when I was
before
12,
you were chosen.
Yeah, when I was 12 years old, I auditioned for a role in one of Sean Cunningham's comedies, which was a comedy about a ragtag bunch of orphans who wanted to win their orphanage back from the mob in a soccer tournament. Beers with Jason.
And what was that called? I remember
It was called Manny's Orphans
Yes,
at first.
that's right.
And then later on it was called Kick, and you'd never seen it. But so anyway, soccer just wasn't popular. It was like the bad news bears of soccer. And so Sean was in a quandary there for a minute, and he had seen the success of Halloween. So he just kind of randomly said, I know, Friday the 13th. They figured out they needed a little boy to be one of the, to be the cook's son. And at first, it was going to be Noel Cunningham, his son.
No, yeah.
And then, but his wife, whose name escapes me, said, hell no, he's not doing that, John. And so it was kind of like that commercial, what was it? Mikey, he likes anything, he'll do it. You remember? So they said,
Sure.
Steve Miner said, Why don't we call Ari? He'll do it.
He'll do anything. Yeah.
Literally. And so the only real question for me as to becoming Jason Voorhees was, Sean said, "Can you swim?" And I said, yeah, I can swim, Sean. And he's like, "You got the part."
Wow.
Let's drink some more.
But did you know you were going to have makeup at that time?
Ari needs another beer. Bartender, barkeep.
This story, no. The cool. No. It was hilarious because as a little actor, of course, the first one I had 80 lines. So they hand you the script. The first thing you do is count your lines. And so I'm going through there. And there's no lines. So Sean comes over to me. He's like, no. It's not like that. And I was like, wow, I must have this like insignificant part. He goes, no. You're the monster, okay? And I was, okay. Then I got the goosebumps. I said, oh, okay. And he said, it's all going to have to be body language. And then he said this one thing. He said, okay, you're going to have to convey your feelings through your eyes. The feeling of revenge for my mom through my eyes. However, then Tom Savini came over. He said, I'm sorry, Ari, but one of your eyes is going to be a glass eye. So you'll have to convey all of your things through one eye. So there you go. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, there you go.
And you had no idea what it would lead to, obviously.
Oh, no, absolutely not. At that time, it's interesting how right now horror has become so accepted and mainstream, and at that time it was definitely part of the lunatic fringe. So, pardon me. It was, it was definitely something out of the mainstream. And for me, but from my perspective, I have more fun on the set of Friday the 13th than probably anybody ever had on the set of a movie, because I was 14. It was all new to me. I was at a summer camp. Everybody was indulging me and have a good time and going swimming, and Tom Savini and Tasso, and they were just having a blast.
And be honest.
Yes.
On the set at any time, were you smoking weed?
No, I was just about to say that with any deference to any young people here, but we are in Canada. Tom Savini will verify this. I brought the weed to the set of Friday the 13th because I was kind of a little, kid from Connecticut who could
You didn't smoke any, though. Come on.
Oh, no. What do you mean? I brought it and smoked it. No. What are you talking about? I brought marijuana and hashish to the set of Friday the 13th.
Hashish?
But that wasn't the strongest drug that was there, as long as we were drinking. But we won't go into that.
Next year we'll have a
somebody had
smoking up with
cocaine.
Jason.
What?
Yeah.
That famous
So can I
wine
propose
that
a game that anytime one of us belches, we all
she- on the
drink?
beach? Yep.
Can that be a thing?
Yes. But don't tell anybody that.
No, I won't. Oh my
All right,
God!
then
We
your
just
turn.
had a little
What an amazing
tidbit
he just gave me
It was a
from the set.
revelation.
That's amazing.
Oh, is that?
Wow, it can't be shared, but that is, you're not kidding.
Betsy Palmer was an outstanding, interesting, wonderful lady who could she would have everybody in here falling out of their chairs. I've literally seen her make people laugh so hard. Like we would come out
She
and
was amazing, yeah.
I would come out and Mr. Metal, and she would just start making, dirty jokes about genitalia and everything. Like just boom, 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 boom. She was the best. And yeah, she liked all kinds of great things. She shared the same birth date as my own mother, November 1st. So there's one of our connections.
Yeah, it's
She
next
also
week.
used to say to me, Ari, pass the joint. It's not a microphone.
Did she smoke weed
That's
on the
sweet.
set? Wow.
Oh, on the set. I wasn't on the set at the same time, so I can't verify that. But she smoked weed with me.
So Kane, you came to the role a bit different. It was a role by the time you played Jason.
Oh yeah, I mean there had been 6 movies, so obviously it was a character that people knew around the world. And I've always said the fact that I was in the position to, once it was decided that I was going to play the character, man, that was a huge honor. people knew that character literally around the world. And out of every person on this earth, I'm going to be the fucking guy doing it? Can you imagine how that felt? You know, I mean, so that's why I tried to do whatever I could to, you know, do the character justice.
Well, I think that by the time, Jason Voorhees had become part of American mythology, you know, without a doubt by this point, or also Canadian mythology, you know, and or North American mythology, and you know, indeed, though, I think that the fans will have to agree that you yourself, especially through your body language and your bringing a certain brutality to the role, that was that even, I don't know, magnified that mythology. Can we hear it for Kane Hodder?
Very nice, thank you. I just loved playing the character. I still would like to do it one more time, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, you did the game, all the motion capture.
I did.
Played every Jason practically right there. So.
Which is odd, as you guys know, that whenever I played Jason in a film, I always fought against the idea of Jason running. I just didn't think it fit the character that I was portraying in the movie. So I never ran. Then I do the motion capture for the video game over the course of 2 years, and they tell me, you know, you're going to be able to play as any Jason that has existed. You're going to be able to play as that in the game. So we want you to do the motion capture for all of them. I'm thinking, that's interesting. I'm actually going to have to run portraying Jason, something I fought against for years, but Richard Brooker in part 3 ran. I think even Ted ran some in part 4. So I had to do some of the motion capture running, and it just felt weird to be running while wearing spandex, but that's a different story. You know, spandex with sensors everywhere.
Yeah,
Not real scary looking, but...
Looked like an alien or something.
Yeah, well, I felt like that.
Alien.
But, you know, it was, I was just very happy that they wanted me to do it. And, you know, when I watch people play the game, I can tell that it is me in there. So
absolutely. Good. No. My buddies in Chicago, they play it on a huge screen. They live above the Davis Theater, so they have this huge screen, and you know, every single Jason figure in the world, and they play. Oh, it's you can totally tell it's you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you know, it's but you know, I guess we can agree each Jason has brought something different to the role. You know, all along down the line.
But there's not many of us that have played the character that everything in the movie is us. His, of course, most of mine, even part 8, though, there was a couple shots they wouldn't let me do, so I had to let somebody else do it. But you know, most of the other guys had a stunt double or something like that. So it's kind of nice that our movies, you know, everything is all us.
Well, you know, thank you for saying that, Kane. I was very fortunate to be in Friday the 13th briefly, but effectively, I would hope, you know, to say, and you know,
you did, you know. I give you shit all the time, good-naturedly, but he started the whole thing. I mean, you know, let's face it, he is first Jason.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's appreciated.
And I have a very strong Canadian connection with the movies I did, as you guys know. Jason Takes Manhattan, shot completely in Vancouver, except for one night in Times Square.
Okay.
Jason X, completely Toronto. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Jason Goes to Hell was all L.A., and Part 7 was Alabama and L.A., but, you know, 2 of my films were shot in Canada, so.
And how do you like our beer? This is, as a Canadian, I can't really vouch.
I've always liked Canadian,
Okay.
Molson Canadian.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yes.
stronger.
Yeah.
Is it though?
I'm digging it. It's in
5.5,
there at 5%. Yeah. And why did
5%, yeah.
it says beer twice, or am I just thinking?
What is our beer? 3.5%?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it just costs 3.5% more Canadian dollar. Anyway, why don't we talk a teensy bit about? I mean, you both played a very iconic character behind a mask. So body language. It's all about body language. You both have very different body language. Tell us about that.
Yeah, masks are transformational, and it causes a metamorphosis. Absolutely. And there's a huge tradition of that. Tom Savini was the special effects maestro who did the mask for the first Jason Voorhees,
You guys know
as
Tom
everybody
Savini,
knows.
right?
And
Interesting tidbit about Tom Savini, which I just found out. I did the Steel City Con in Pittsburgh, where Tom lives, and I went over to his house. I don't know if you've ever been to Tom's house.
no, I've
but
never.
He has a house in Pittsburgh area, and his entire house is jam packed with, it looks like hoarders, the inside of it, but just with memorabilia and things from movies and stuff. And I said, man, you look like you've lived here a long time. And I don't know how often this happens, but Tom is 72 now, has lived in one house his entire life.
No.
He was born there and has lived there his entire life.
Oh, I didn't realize
that
that.
has to be so uncommon
Wow.
for someone to be that age to have never lived in another dwelling.
And that's successful to not.
Yeah,
It's Pittsburgh we're talking about still?
yeah. And it's a little row house, kind of like you see in New York. But he also purchased his sister's house that used to be directly behind on the other street, and he connected them. They're both very narrow homes, but he connected them. So I'm walking through the house and I'm thinking, man, it takes a long time to get from one end to the other. And then I'm looking in a room and I look on the wall and it still has exterior siding, because that used to be the back of his home.
Wow.
And now it's an interior room. And I said, Tom, you didn't build this to code, did you? and he didn't, which is why he probably could never sell it. But it's two houses, very narrow ones, connected. But yeah, never lived anywhere else. I find that fascinating.
It's fascinating, for sure. So the photographer's here. Any questions from the audience before we wrap up? Any more? You guys are all, yeah?
I got one
Okay.
for Kane. I've got playing both Jason Voorhees and Victor Crowley. Who do you enjoy more?
Be honest. Be honest.
I guess it sounds phony, but I can't say that I enjoy one over the other. I enjoy them equally. They're different types of characters, even though they neither one speak, and it's heavy prosthetic makeup. You know, Victor's a lot more animated and as I described, less predictable than Jason has always been. You basically know what Jason's going to do. You know what he's going to do, and you still can't escape. But kind of ludicrous. But with Victor, you're not quite sure what he might do, so it's a little bit different.
He's more like batshit crazy. Is what
Yeah, I think so. And that's why, interestingly, probably people haven't picked up on it, but throughout my 4 films as Victor, in the first one, this is the first time you see Victor, and he hasn't really killed people before. So he's very twitchy and kind of nervous looking. And I purposely, each time we did a film, calmed that aspect of the character down. And just made it look like you could see how Victor got more comfortable with his murderous ways. So it was just a way of me performing that I thought kind of made sense. By the time we see Victor Crowley, he's just very used to killing people. So there's no twitchiness and nervousness anymore. So anybody see Victor Crowley?
Oh yeah.
Felissa Rose kill? Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, I think we've got time for one more, and this is a question that I'm only daring to ask you because I'm a beer in, you're each 2 beers in. What would you say is the future for Friday the 13th? And I know this is a bit of a sticky wicket. I know
Anybody finish 2 beers besides me? Almost.
anybody
Come
trying
on.
to keep up with Kane Hodder
Come on,
for
not-
beers? Because,
He
okay,
can do
all
it.
right. So what do you think? Is there more Jason to be had for either of you?
There's more beer to be had.
As far as I'm concerned, I never wanted to quit. Most of you guys know that. I was replaced and never told why, so I would love to play the character once more. One more time, 13th movie, bring back Corey Feldman, put Ari in a role,
Yeah.
but speaking this time. You know, a bunch of
And not in the
people
water?
that, huh?
And not in the water?
And not in the water, yeah.
One dramatic eye.
But I think it'd be fun to see some of the characters that have
be a
that
pirate.
survived, or just never had been killed, like some of the
Tommy Jarvis?
right Tommy, even people that we briefly saw in the diner or something. So if someone's recognizable, I think that'd be a great way to kind of tie it up and
Right on.
let me.
What about Officer Dorff? He was never killed, right?
Is that right?
Ron Milkey, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
that's
like,
right.
They were just like, later. Oh yeah, I gotta drop you off here. Sorry. Well,
Shelley? Was Shelley killed?
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
well, I think the future of Friday the 13th is, and the past of Friday the 13th has always been up to me knocking tables over. No, in the hands of the fans, because that's who's caused the movie houses literally to decide to make another Friday the 13th. And it's the way that you've seen Friday the 13th that's changed it. I mean, even initially, when I did the role, they handed me this script that said Annie's Dream. Okay?
The name of the
Because it was like the ending was not, we wrapped in August of 1979, and I had just drowned. There was no ending scene.
True.
And so then they said, come back after they saw the movie Carrie. And they said, okay, we want to do this ending. So already popular opinion and the movie world is driving the storyline, right? So in other words, it's kind of surrealistic because you are the future of Friday the 13th. So, but going back to the past, see what happened, I said, Tom, this is bullshit. Bitch killed my mom. I'm real. I'm coming up. And he's like, but how could you be real? It's like 11 years later, you've been underwater. I said, like, what, you never read Swamp Thing? Do you read X-Men? I mean, what? It was nothing. It was like a drop of blood hit the water and she's calling to me, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a million ways to justify it. But long story short, Tom told me, yeah, that's great, Ari. You believe that. Don't tell Sean. But in the long run, Jason is real. You see what I'm saying? He's not a dream like Freddy. So that, in essence, it was the fans kind of like the way they're confirming that Jason is real. Like, that's an abstract thing that came into Friday the 13th and made it so different, I think, than almost any other series. Because, of course, in Michael Myers, we've got Donald Pleasance telling us that he's insane. It's confirming something about insanity. Whereas in Friday the 13th, it leaves it open. It's up to you to decide what is really, and we still don't know the answer. But I could say that, without a doubt, that Friday the 13th will continue on forever. There may be bigger, there may be better, but my firstness can never be questioned. I'm the firstiest of all.
That's true.
But then Kane came here and, hit it out of the park, and there's still more future Jasons. I know you know about all the fan films and Vengeance and all these different things that are going on already. So no matter what, you can't kill a myth. And what started out in Victor Miller's pen, one day, has become something much greater somehow.
And let me ask you one quick question before we finish up. Am I the only one that's thinking that Ari may have brought the hashish again?
We're in Canada, you know, Kane.
I'll drink to that. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Buzz on now, man. Look out. Oh no. How am I gonna sign autographs now?
You did pretty well with those beers.
Oh no.